Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the May 12th, 2021 Global Troy Advisory Committee regular meeting. I will call this meeting to order and ask for the roll call from Ms. Ames. Go ahead, Sarah.
Mayor Baker.
Here.
Lisa Bika-Grodsky.
Here.
Mavita Burris. Ani Fakori.
Yes.
Caitlin Howe. Allison Liu. Saida Mohideen.
Here.
Carolina Nogues Ortiz.
Here.
Daniela Nacheva.
Here.
Sunil Sakiri. Arjun Thilakapalli. And Tom Zhou.
Here.
Good. We do have quorum this evening, and I believe we've received correspondence that Mavita will be coming in a little bit late, and we don't know about Sunil Sekri or any of our student representatives, but we will see. And Caitlin Howe. We'll see what happens. If they come in and join us. Otherwise, we do have quorum. So first up on the agenda is the consent agenda, where we have the minutes from our February 10th meeting. Anybody have any questions, comments, or anything regarding these minutes?
No, I make to approve the minutes as presented.
All right, let's see. Lisa raised her hand. Did you want to say something, Lisa?
Just a little typo regarding Troy Days. At one point it said Days, D-A-Y-S, should be D-A-Z-E. Other than that, I will second Ani's motion.
Okay, well, we've got a motion by Ani to accept these minutes as presented. We'll call it amended by Lisa Bika-Grodsky's correction with the typo for Troy Days, and it's seconded by her as well. Any other discussion about these minutes? All right, Sarah, we still need to do a roll call vote for each item, right? All right, go ahead. The roll call then. The vote, please.
Okay. Mayor Baker.
Yes.
Lisa Bika-Grodsky.
Yes.
Ani.
Yes.
Saida.
She said yes, but she's muted.
Oh. Carolina.
Yes.
Daniela.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you for those thorough minutes, Sarah. I'll say it again, you do a really good job putting those out there. Appreciate that. We move on to regular business. There's two items here. The first up is the debrief of the Joint City Council and Global Troy Advisory Committee meeting. Sarah, did you want to say a few words to start that off?
Yeah, I did. So I thought that, I know it's been a while now that we didn't have our last meeting, but I thought that the meeting went really, really well. There's a lot of really good discussion. And basically with this memo, I just wanted to highlight kind of the actions that Global Troy said that we would take. And then I'm hoping that we can kind of facilitate a conversation and potentially develop a subcommittee to kind of act on these.
Very good. Did you all have the chance to read the memo?
Yes.
It's funny. It does feel like it was a while ago that we had that joint meeting. Time goes very fast. So well, how about let's just start with some general thoughts, or let's debrief a little bit. I mean, does anybody have any specific comments that you want to bring up after that meeting, or thoughts or concerns or feelings or any of the above? Happy to.
I thought it was a great meeting and appreciate the effort to get together, because we've been trying for years and never did work. So thank you, Mayor. And I thought it was a very, very helpful meeting.
I appreciate that, Ani. And from my perspective, from council, I agree. I think it was good to have the opportunity finally. I still wish we could do it in person, and maybe we'll have another one in person. It'd be great to have some really delicious food as part of that as well. I think that'd be fun. But maybe that'll be the next phase when we get back to that point. But Lisa?
I agree with Ani. I think it was a long overdue meeting because for those of us who've been on Global Troy Advisory Committee for a while, it's been something we've talked about at great length for a long time. So I'm really pleased that it happened. I feel it went really well, and I hope that we can make this an annual or biannual thing with the council and our committee. Just kind of throwing that idea out there.
I think we can do it annually with bring foods from different countries. That will attract the council.
That'll get us there. That's right. That's always a good thing, right? I do agree. I think that because it was so long overdue, sometimes it felt like just to keep the food theme going, like just a little bit of an appetizer. Like there's more that we could do with having more of an opportunity, and so some regularity with that might be good. So that could be something we could consider when we're looking at the schedule for our next year's schedule and how we do that. We should try to, recognizing we need council to do it as well, but we can kind of rough that out in our minds. That's a good idea. Plus, I think that, as an advisory committee, it's good to have an opportunity to speak, right? To have that dialogue, I think, is really important, especially on issues that that could relate well to this committee. So I agree. Anyone else? Not right now. No. So Sarah, did you want us to take action on some of these things tonight, or have further discussion about specific items, or what would you prefer?
Yes, so I think in previous we talked about continuing the cultural education events. In the past meetings we've discussed that, so that's something that we'll continue to do. I think that, personally, I think a quarterly report to inform council on the activities that we've been doing would be beneficial. I don't really know what that would look like right now, but I think council might, be very interested in that. Personally, I would like to discuss a subcommittee for the Welcoming America membership, because after, looking through kind of what we have access to, I think it would be beneficial for me and then just Global Troy in the future, since I will not be in this position, forever. It would be beneficial for Global Troy to be entirely involved in that. So maybe a subcommittee to kind of work on, how we're going to implement Welcoming America initiatives and things like that. Would be beneficial, just so that, Global Troy is as involved as they can be. And then, when my position transitions or whatever happens in the future, it won't be lost. There'll be no information lost, and others will be involved in that.
Good point. It's like succession planning, but early on in the game. Well, let's just take a straw poll. I mean, is there interest by anyone on the board here, the group, who would like to be part of a subcommittee, assuming we set one up? I mean, is somebody passionate about being on that subcommittee? Because that's the first place. It doesn't do us any good to set up a subcommittee if we don't have somebody willing to be on it, right? Naz, is that you're applauding? That means you'll do it. All right. Mark that down. Lisa, see, look at everybody take off. Oh, that's winning. We're good. All right. So should we make a motion to actually establish this subcommittee right now? I'll move that we establish a subcommittee of the Global Troy Advisory Committee to specifically related to the Welcoming America events, and as a liaison with this, to work in conjunction with Sarah, whomever Sarah then becomes at some point. Somebody want to second that motion?
I'll second it.
All right, Ani, any discussion on that? Yeah, Lisa.
So I did participate in the Welcoming America Interactive. It was a 2-day virtual last week, and I was mighty impressed. And I kept on talking about North Carolina next year or something, but some of the initiatives and the things that they shared, I think align very well with our Global Troy Advisory Committee. And I don't want to spread myself too thin being involved in every little thing that Global Troy has here, but it really motivated me to want to become more active with them. after attending the 2-day conference. Really great breakout sessions they provided, and I networked with people local and far away, and it was a very good experience. I know I saw Sarah on there, and Carolina was there as well. So I don't know if I missed others, but it really was worth my time to invest in that. So yeah, sign me up for our subcommittee.
Well, that'll be my next motion. All right, I'm good. We'll do that next. But okay, very good. Any other discussion on that motion to set up the subcommittee? Not, we'll go ahead and ask for the vote then. I'm sure it'll be unanimous, but we need to do it anyway.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Ani,
Yes.
Saida,
Yes.
Carolina,
Yes.
Daniela,
Yes.
and then Tom.
Yes.
All right, well, that motion carries. So we've established a subcommittee. I'm going to actually make another motion to appoint Lisa, Naz, Allison, and Carolina. I think those were the hands that went up that showed interest to the subcommittee to start out, if they'll accept. And is any second on that?
I'll second.
Is that you, Daniela?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, any discussion on that? All right, the vote then, Sarah.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Ani,
Yes.
Saida,
Yes.
Carolina,
Yes.
Daniela,
Yes.
and Tom.
Yes.
Right, motion carries. We have a new subcommittee and new subcommittee members. It's very exciting. That's good. Thank you, guys. And I think that what the subcommittee would be a great opportunity. The information you can get would be a good thing to report to council, right? I mean, this is a topic that would be helpful. Those kind of things. These are the things that would be good to on those regular reports that we're talking about. So that's cool. Do we need, Sarah, I actually don't know with the subcommittee, do we need to do anything else? That's
No.
it. Okay.
Yep.
Making sure. Sorry. Sometimes I forget the rules, but we'll figure them out along the way. Okay. So we did that. As far as the other items that you have as the action items, Sarah, do you want to go through some of the other ones here or work on anything else specifically?
So a lot of them, I think, will be kind of covered by the subcommittee activities. Because we did talk about partnering with the Troy Public Library, and I know they're very excited to do that. I've talked to their marketing person, and they're very excited to get involved. Once the library opens and things get back to normal, that'll be easier. And we did talk about holding welcoming events for new Troy residents, and I don't know if that would be something that the Welcoming America committee would do, subcommittee would do, or if that's something that the group would want to partner together to do.
Okay. Seems like to me that's something that the subcommittee should do the preliminary work, and then it's certainly not. We're an inclusive group, not exclusive. So if the subcommittee brought it to us and others on the advisory committee wanted to participate, I'm sure that would be the right way to do it. But if we don't want to bog down the subcommittee members, and heard you loud and clear, Lisa, you don't want to get stretched too thin. You already do a lot, and we don't want to make that an issue. But I think that's probably the best done to have the subcommittee start and then get in. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm right. Hey, Sunil.
Sorry, got late. Actually, I got my timing all messed up. I thought it's at 7 o'clock. Somehow my brain was all set for 7 o'clock meeting, and then boom.
Oh, you're here. So we're okay. That's okay. Well, good to see you. Okay, so Where does that leave us then, Sarah?
So then we can actually move on, and then the subcommittee will talk about developing a plan and decide when to meet, and go from there.
And certainly, I heard you mention North Carolina, Lisa. If I maybe that was they're planning on like an in-person conference or something. Well, I would always say, Global Troy doesn't have a specific budget, but the city does have the means to fund, certain things. We certainly have done that with other boards and committees as necessary. And if it's reasonable and makes sense to council, would have to approve that. Then I don't see that would be a problem to bring up at the time. But just keep that in the back of your head as well, I guess.
Awesome.
All right. When you said move on, Sarah, was more on the debriefing from the joint meeting, or are you done there?
Yes, done there.
Okay. Well, the other regular business item tonight is the discussion regarding Global Troy Advisory Committee upcoming events and our quarterly event that we've talked about. Do you have, is there a memo? Let's see what the memo. Well, we have the memo. Let's talk about it. Do you have more of an interest there?
So this is just kind of a standard memo that I've been putting in a lot of the agenda packets, just to get us having a conversation about the quarterly event. If we're deciding we want to do that for spring, we should probably start focusing on that now, as May's almost done, and that's kind of what we were focusing on, was March through May. So I don't know, because we didn't have the last meeting, I don't know if that kind of makes, like we did the December events, or winter traditions, and we didn't have much time, so it was pretty rushed. I don't know if we feel we have time to do this, or I don't know if anyone's interested in developing an event for the spring events.
Thoughts?
This is Daniela. Do you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. I think it's kind of late for a spring event. However, we missed two great opportunities, so maybe for next year we can plan a little bit better. Like, I know May was American Asian month, and maybe if someone is Asian or like how they call it exactly, I have to look online. Pacific, yeah. And then Ramadan, like we mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, will end tonight. So we have lots of, Muslim people in Troy. So we definitely should do something for these two events, Asian and.
Well, I don't know that it's too late.
People who celebrate Ramadan.
If we're doing like a retrospective kind of, this is what happened this last quarter, I don't think it's necessarily too late, assuming we've got interest in putting something together or whatever that may be, and then we can highlight a little bit those things. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think we kind of talked about the idea if we don't have to do it beforehand, we can do it as a look back. So we have the opportunity if we have the ability to do it, meaning someone willing to take it on and to work on that. I know the cities, we issued a proclamation for Asian American and Pacific Islander recognition for the month of May. So, I mean, there is some stuff, but we certainly could do more. Lisa's thumbs upping. Sometimes I don't know. Allison, you got something to say?
So since it's like the end, and I feel like we should also like look towards like what we want to do for the summer months too. Maybe it doesn't have to be a big thing. Like maybe it could be like a few Instagram and Facebook posts, just like highlighting some families that celebrate Ramadan, and like maybe like if they took pictures this year, or like they can like make a brief video like about what they do and talk about it, and then we can do the same for AAPI month. And it can just kind of like sum up the whole season, like the whole spring, and kind of, then we can like focus our energy on like the summer time.
I think that's great. Who would like to head it up? Who would like to coordinate? I guess,
This is the issue.
That's always the issue, right? Doesn't have to be a lot. Like you said, it could just be, I mean,
I think Oni has lots of connections. Last time we couldn't get the people from St. George Church. Oni, if you can help us, with this connection. Oh, but they're Christian in St.
I
George.
can help with the Ramadan.
Oh, you can help. That's right.
Yeah, I can help with the Ramadan.
all right. You think you could put together something? Like
Okay.
get a video of somebody, or
Probably doesn't have to be very long, like maybe
Yeah.
1 to 2 minutes with some people talking, even if it's just like your family, like just so we make
I
sure we
do have
acknowledge
some
it.
videos. I do have
Yeah.
some videos which I work. I can share that with Sarah.
Okay.
And then we can see how we can work with it.
and you're feasting tomorrow, right? So maybe it's a good time to do it. So, all right. Well, that's good. That helps with the Ramadan aspect. I don't know as far as the AAPI how we should address that necessarily. I'm not sure what that would look like. The Ramadan one to me makes a little more sense. Like I can picture that one a little more, but I'm not sure what everybody's thinking for AAPI. Thoughts on that?
Maybe we could reach out to people and ask them like, what does AAPI month mean to them or something? Like kind of what we did for Black History Month, except we did Black icons, but now we can just be like, what does this month mean to you?
Yeah, no, I mean, if we can get people to do it, sure. I think that works. Carolina, you also had your hand up. What?
Yeah, well, something that comes to mind is we could include some pictures. I know that there was a rally in Troy, and there were several, council members, and there's some quotes also in the papers. So I don't know if we could also include that at some point, or interview someone about, how the recent anti-Asian attacks, have impacted this month and what can be done.
I'd love it if we could address the way you just phrased it was the right way. How the attacks have affected their thoughts on this month. I certainly don't want to get away from the positive aspect of this month as well. So I think addressing it that way was the right way to say it. So good. That was well said. Anyone willing to kind of compile that aspect of it, or someone with technology skills? It's not me. I'll tell you, I'm not the one with the technology skills. I mean, certainly, Carolina, Rebecca or David or certainly would speak.
I can maybe help like put it together, but I can't really reach out to people because it's AP season. So.
Right. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, I'm starting a new job next week, so that's why but I can send Allison contacts. I can send her pictures. I can send her different items that I can find. But I can't take it on right now.
Okay. I'm thinking, and I can ask her, Councilmember Chamberlain Krianga, I'm sure would be happy to speak a little bit. She was at the rally. She was, she made sure that the proclamation we issued at the city for AAPI month was going to happen this year. So I'm sure she'd happily do that. That might give a little component of that. I can help coordinate that as well. Do you think based on that, Allison, you can make something work? If we get a little video for pictures.
I mean, if it's just like a short Facebook or Instagram video, like it doesn't have to be a 30-minute long video.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll send you like the link to the proclamation the city issued as well. Maybe that can be kind of weaved in or something just to have it. I think that might work. Does that work? Again, you're right. It doesn't have to be a feature length film. It's just getting something out there. Same for you, Naz. We're not looking for Steven Spielberg type. Maybe James Cameron. Something.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we've got those two things covered. Is there anything else we need to cover to kind of looking at this list here.
I'm wondering if Tom can help also.
Yeah, I was wondering the same.
Tom, can you
Tom,
speak up?
us?
Or maybe famous Asian people in
I think Tom got disconnected.
Lost Tom.
Oh, we lost him.
I guess he got scared when we called on him.
I mean, I can follow up with him tomorrow at work.
Why did you do that? Again, that sounds
Yeah.
okay. And then, you know, once we get stuff to Sarah, she can make sure it can get out, and we'll highlight it. And I think that's a good service. Now, talking about what's coming up over the summer months, is there anything we want to do more contemporaneously with a celebration for anything coming up in the summer? Has anybody thought about that at all?
I do have a suggestion. This is Daniela. June 1st is celebrated as an International Children's Day.
Mm-hmm.
International, I know, it's similar to International Women's Day. International, but America doesn't know about it. So maybe we can try to make it more popular in America, and specifically in Troy, by having some kind of events. And June 1st, hopefully the weather is nice as now. We can just be in front of the library or Troy Community Center and have some kind of games for the kids. I just don't know with the COVID rules now. I know 100 people can be without mask outside. But again, how many people will be willing to participate in, let's say, jumping with bags or rope? How to say? I'm not sure. You know, two people turn the rope and kids jump. So
might be too soon. I don't know. My initial reaction is I don't know if. I mean, kids are in school. So, I mean, it's not like they're not used to being with their kids. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to do something like that outside of the library or the community center when both of them aren't open yet. To me, there's something about that feels kind of funny. But maybe that's just me and my initial reaction. I think the idea is good. Although when I was a kid, I used to ask my mom, you know, when there's Mother's Day and Father's Day, and how come there was no Kids Day? And she always tell me, well, every day is Kids Day, so let us have it. You know, so maybe it's funny to me. I guess maybe that's why we don't celebrate International Children's Day as much in America. But I like the concept, and although June 1st is coming up very fast.
Yeah, so maybe after they finish school, maybe it could be after June 15.
Yeah. All right.
End of I think in one of these meetings we talk about Tom demonstrating some yoga or like Chinese movements. I forgot the name of this art that he's involved with, and we can do this in a park outside.
That's true.
So let's say June 20th. Let's see a calendar. I don't have a calendar around me.
It's so hard too because I feel like we're right on the verge of having some.
June 20th is a Sunday, Daniela.
June 20th is Sunday.
Yeah, if you choose to do the children's yoga outside, I can probably find someone who can sort of lead or do that. Or we've been working with the kids or something like that. So.
Oh, but June 20th is Father's Day, I believe.
Yeah.
It can be father-kid yoga.
Yeah.
Father and child.
Father and child. That's a good one. There's always instead of father and daughter dances, it's father and kids.
Yeah. Yes, but sometimes family prefer to celebrate by themselves, family celebration, not going to a park with a bunch of other Troy residents.
Right.
I don't know.
I was wondering, Sarah, do we have a list about stuff in June, July, and August?
Yeah, yep, we do. I just didn't share it. Sorry, I was really focused on getting the spring events done, but I can share the list probably through email if you all would want to see what.
Okay.
It's going to be, you know, the COVID regulations have driven so much of what we've done. My guess is they're going to change again here as we progress, which will make it better and easier and allow people or give people the idea that it's more okay to go out. So I think that'll change if we get closer to summer, and we'll have to kind of see how things progress, and that'll determine a little bit of what we do. Although I think I might be wrong, but I'm not expecting as soon as people can, I'm not expecting people to be running out into large groups. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess I should watch the news. You see plenty of that, but you know, we'll see. I don't know how quickly people are going to be excited to go back out and congregate like that. So we'll just kind of have to play it by ear, but it doesn't mean we can't, you know, dip our toes into the water of some of these things just to kind of get a feel and see if they work. Maybe like pilot studies, right, on some of these things, and then we'll know. But
Yes.
again, it comes down to who's willing to take that on and kind of organize. That's the hardest thing, and we don't want to stretch anybody too thin or not. So I mean, that's kind of where I would leave it. I'm happy to support and promote whatever I can. I can't take on a lot of additional things to organize some of these things, but I will support and promote as best I can. So sorry to leave that on you, but that's where we're at.
Okay.
Okay. So Sarah, just to recap, you'll send out again those lists with the summer potential options, then we can review those and think about what we want to do specifically. I love the children concept. We've got, we're working on some AAPI and some Ramadan retrospective stuff. And for having skipped a meeting in April, that'll be good for us to get something going out. So, I mean, that's
Yes.
good of us. Like that.
If it's like June 19 Saturday, it could be just school is out, something like this theme. And at the same time, it's, isn't it like preparation or like graduation parties?
I think graduation parties are like the end of May throughout the first couple of weeks of June, but I don't know how big those parties are going to be this year because of COVID. One thing that came to mind about June 19th is it's Juneteenth also.
June what?
Juneteenth, which is, I was going to say, when you said June 19th, I said we probably shouldn't do something other than Juneteenth stuff on June 19th.
Can you explain more about this?
Sure. It's free. It's called Freedom Day or Jubilation Day. It's when emancipation of the remaining slaves happened, and so there's actually a lot of talk right now about making it a more official holiday. Some jurisdictions and stuff. So I wouldn't want to do anything not Juneteenth related on June 19th because I think that would actually whether or not we do something for Juneteenth is one thing, but we certainly wouldn't want to do something other than Juneteenth on June 19th. That makes sense.
I see.
Okay. I don't know where that leaves us then.
Yeah, we have to think about this.
If that is the case, there's nothing wrong with picking June 26th the following week or something. Or a Sunday. It's a Sunday in the afternoon. Well, Saturday is always better, but.
If we wanted to do something focused on yoga, we could do maybe just something on social media, find a yoga teacher that would be willing to help us out maybe and do like an hour-long session or something in the morning or afternoon, and maybe give like some background information on yoga. I mean, I feel like that could be relatively easy, and then it wouldn't take away any of the plans for, you know, Father's Day or Juneteenth or anything like that. Just an idea.
It could be like a live or something. Like I think Facebook does those, and then like people who participate, maybe if they want to ask questions, they can like also ask questions.
Yeah, if you do it on a Zoom, you still have, I think you can have as many as 100 people on it, right?
Zoom is 300, but no, let's go outside. I do agree with the mayor and everybody, COVID concerns, but I think people are so ready to go outside and have fun and have concerts and soccer games. Like, my kids are, outside and all sports are running. So I have a question for the mayor. Troy doesn't have a parade, or at least I don't know about. Or what about concerts outside?
We have concerts outside in the summer, concerts in the park. We do that at Bowman Park. Right now, we don't know what's going to be done because things have always been changing so fast. I assume we'll actually have concerts in the park this year based on where we're headed right now. I think they're on Thursday evenings, every other Thursday in Bowman Park. We do those. And they're well attended.
Yes.
And enjoyable, and then never fail. We have sunny weather all week and then a thunderstorm on a Thursday evening. So that's the other fun part about doing it outside. But we do have those, and Cindy Stewart is in charge of that.
Yeah, Troy used to have a parade, Danielle.
We used to have a parade that went
on
to
Crooks Road. I think we used to have that on Crooks. Between Bottles and Big Beaver.
Yeah, and it would there was a parade that used to lead into Troy Days at the start, I think, Troy Family Days. But when the city stopped doing Troy Days on its own, the parade stopped. I think it actually stopped before that. But
I see.
Parades anymore.
Yeah, we used to have Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts and all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe then during these concerts in the park, we can have like 1 hour before the concert, kids games, and like this way people will learn about Global Troy, and we'll invite them to participate on Troy Days.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Entertainment
concept for sure. Okay. Well, let's I don't know if it doesn't sound like anybody's necessarily jumping up to say, hey, I want to pick a day in June and organize something, unless I'm misreading the Zoom room. But absent that, then I think we should maybe just go a little bit looser with something and see when the concert schedule comes out. Maybe we can double up on some of those. And we can check with Cindy Stewart to see what her latest, although she's going to say, I don't know yet what we're doing with the concert. But I think so. My understanding is the expectation is the current health department orders right now go through May 31st, and they expect there to be changes after May 31st. It'll be announced before May 31st, but that's my understanding of what the expectation is right now. So we will see. I need to know. But okay. Should we talk about Troy Days for a minute? I think this should. So, Lisa, you're probably more in touch as some of the meetings. I did find out that the federal government won't do the citizenship, the naturalization ceremony this year. They're not going to do it. They won't commit to it.
Oh no, I didn't hear that at our meeting on May 4th. So that must be fresher news.
I heard it yesterday, as a matter of fact. I think that their concern is they just can't commit, not knowing what it's going to look like in September, right? And which is too bad, because I like a lot of Troy. That's one of the best parts, I think. And so, but there may be an option. We talked a little bit about it informally yesterday. They're not saying no, they're not available and won't do it at all if conditions change. But part of the issue could be, we do it inside of a tent. Might need to be if it's maybe not under the tent or something like that. It's without the walls. That might be some wiggle room. But if you want to talk about what you know about Troy Days at this point, I'm happy to. Why don't we listen?
Yep. So the Troy Family Days Committee met on May 4th, and I want to thank Allison and Sarah for coming into the meeting to support me and to hear firsthand the information that I'm going to share with you. They are planning to do Troy Days on a smaller scale, but the midway rides and things like that will be part of it, as well as fireworks. The dates are September 16th through Sunday, September 19th. And International Day is planned for Sunday, September 19th. And they do want us to get things started and have a lineup, if we could possibly do that by the end of June, because they do print materials and things like that. They also have limited expenses available this year because there's so many unknowns due to COVID and everything. So we're really trying to do more of a grassroots International Day this year. And that would mean asking citizens and residents of the city of Troy and nearby communities to possibly do their visual art, dance, or music for free of charge, just to promote their culture. And so we're still going to do contracts in some way so that they're committing to a time slot. And I saw in Sarah's email that we'd like to implement a subcommittee for International Day. So these would be maybe 3 or 4 individuals and I that would seek out the talent. Of course, all of you in the community and on this committee are welcome to give us leads that we can follow up on. But we'd like a nice mixture of different customs and cultures and nationalities to be a part of it. But the resources are just limited this year because there was no Troy Family Days last year, and there was a fire at some point which destroyed a lot of the materials that they're used to using that need to be replaced this year. So we just have to do it on a much lower budget than we ever have in the past. So of course, they are looking for corporate sponsors, and this is nothing new. Every time I have talked to our group, many of us know business leaders who might be willing to make a donation to Troy Family Days in support of International Day, as well as some nonprofit cultural groups are welcome to also be sponsors. So at this time, I'd like to ask for support for the subcommittee. We would meet separately before the next meeting, which would be June 8th. And hopefully by the end of June, before 4th of July, we would have some sort of lineup. There'll be meetings also July 13th and August 3rd, and then the last meeting, September 7th, are the meetings. And right now, the meetings are on Zoom as well. But this would be one of the biggest Troy in-person outdoor events since the state shut down a year ago, March.
It for sure will be. Which is a question on many people's minds of how that's going to go. But yeah, well, Carolina, what's next for sure. Thank you for that good report, and Lisa, we depend on you for your willingness to be part of their meetings and to report back to us. So thank you. That was a good, thorough report. Carolina, were you raising your hand to speak or to volunteer or both?
No, just a question. Lisa, how can people donate? Is there a link, or what would be an email if people are interested in either being a corporate donor or an individual donor?
They should be listed on the Troy Family Days Facebook page. You will start seeing posts on that. That's where I would refer people to. Of course, you're more than welcome to connect with me, and I can connect you to the Troy Family Days member that is responsible for sponsorships. You know, there's a form and different levels that one could choose to get more exposure for their business and stuff. So I can put you or whoever that person is in touch with the Troy Family Days committee member.
Okay, thank you.
I'm
I was volunteering. That's why I raised my hand.
You were volunteering. Okay. And for the subcommittee, right?
Yes. Mhm.
And Della,
I'm
you're volunteering.
Yes, volunteering.
Okay. Allison, too. Naz, is that a volunteer? Yes? All right. Okay. Lisa, does that work for you to get going?
It does.
Again, happy to do whatever I can to help. If you need, if someone's, if you need help, if it makes sense for me to talk to somebody or ask somebody anything, never hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to shamelessly use this position to get something good for the city. So let me know if that helps in any way. Sometimes it doesn't, quite frankly. So we gotta balance that out. But okay. Well, yeah. So yesterday we did a ribbon cutting for the phase 2 of the Troy Trails, and at that ribbon cutting was Karen Greenwood, who's the new chair of the Troy Community Foundation, who's working with the Troy Days, and we were talking about it. And they are fully planning for an event. Obviously, it's scaled down to deal with COVID, although no one knows what regulations will be in September. But she did say, the carnival operators or the ride operators, they have protocols in place to handle, for COVID purposes. So they're fully prepared for all that. Karen was just looking for specific, maybe, I don't know if buy-in's the right choice, but support from the city and support from the county, because there is some question as to what's allowable and what wouldn't be and how that works. So we obviously, as the city, have to be very careful that, especially because it's on city property, we want to be wise in how we do that. And but again, the expectation is to fully plan full speed ahead, because we're hoping to look at something in a very different landscape in September anyway. So that's the goal. And it is outside, which helps us tremendously. And I think we'll be okay. We just have to make sure we're doing everything in the meantime. So it's good to know that we're looking for the dancers and the performers, and suddenly here we are mid-May and we're looking by end of June, right? So that we've got to get some work done to get that going. But thank you. Anything else?
At that point, one of the questions would be whether you would require a mask or not is probably one of the things that will come up.
Which we just don't know, right? I mean,
Yeah,
right now, certainly there'll be more than 100 people there.
Yeah.
So right now you'd need a mask. Whether that's the case in 4 months, we don't know, right? I mean, if the vaccination rate gets high enough, the state will say there's no mask requirement. So I don't know, I don't know that we'd get to 70% before September. Although you never know. I've learned one thing: you just don't know with this stuff, right? You just can't guess, and you never know. But anyway, okay. Anything else on Troy Days, International Day? No. All right. Well, that's what we have in regular business for tonight. Is there any?
Mayor, I will say, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we do have to, if we're going to make a formal subcommittee, we do have to do a roll call.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that was a formal subcommittee or if it was an informal.
Is it ad hoc?
I don't know. We can make it a formal subcommittee. Should we do that?
It's up to you all.
All right, let's do it. Let's just be formal about it. Lisa, did you move that motion for that formal subcommittee? How about that? Does that work? All right. Someone want to support it?
I'll second.
Ani would do that. All right. So a motion to create that subcommittee with the members that volunteered to initially serve on it, seconded by Ani. Any other discussion on that? All right, let's do the vote, Sarah.
Okay, Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Ani,
Yes.
Saida,
Yes.
Carolina.
Yes.
Perfect. Daniela,
Yes.
Sunil,
Yes.
and Tom.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Formal subcommittee created. We did it. Okay, other business? Anything on anybody's mind? No. Nothing good.
I do want to say, I think if it's okay to make a comment, Ethan, I think all the videos which we have produced over time that Sarah has been coordinating have all been very good. The quality is good. It's enjoyable to look at them. I think that has worked very well for us. Now, I don't know if there's a way to count how many people looked at them, if there's a way to increase the visibility of those, but by themselves, if somebody sees it, it's good, short, nice, concise videos. Those are good. Thanks, sir.
I agree. They've been very good, and we could probably look at some of the views on Facebook. They're on YouTube. They'll show. I don't think they have super high views, but hard to. I'm not great at making the technology. I'm also not great at figuring out how well it did. So that's not. I don't know. There might be a way, but I'm not sure if it's all really tracked as well as it should be. But maybe Sarah, you could look into that just a little bit to look back at some of the stuff and see what shows, what doesn't show. Just as a thought. Any other business?
Just as the reason I was saying the visibility, Sarah, you're part of that group we have for Michigan tourism or something of that sort, right? The
Welcoming Michigan?
Yeah, Welcoming Michigan. So I'm wondering if they have a way of also promoting it, to say these are cultural things happening in Michigan or in Troy. So they just another channel to bring the visibility out.
Good idea.
Yeah, I'll check because I'm not sure, but I will ask.
Yeah, even if they share on their social media, maybe, right? I mean, I'm sure they have social media. I'm assuming they do, but like they might, if they're not aware that we're putting that kind of stuff out, then they're not going to know to share. So that could be an option as well. That'll be good. Let's see, we're still in another business. So I think this is going to be our last virtual meeting because we lifted the state of emergency or terminated the local state of emergency that allowed for continued virtual meetings effective May 24th. So our next meeting would be in person or a hybrid if you had a medical reason or concern not to appear in person. You could still come in virtually. Our meetings, as far as I know for right now, any meeting of any board and committee that meets in person will be meeting in council chambers because that's where the technology is to allow for a hybrid. It also allows for better distancing. So our next meeting likely will be in council chambers, which is interesting. It's a different thing. We'll see, and we'll play it all by ear and see how things go out. But that's just a kind of a heads up on that. Yeah, Lisa.
So I just wanted to make a comment that I was unaware that there was going to be a march in support of the Asian American and Pacific community, I think back in April. I found out like minutes before as some of my Facebook contacts were, posting that they were there. And I went back and looked at all the emails that we may have gotten from Sarah, and there was nothing sent to us about it. And I think I am assuming I would have definitely been there if I had known in advance, and many others may have been there as well. And so just if the communication of those types of things that might be relevant to what we do here at Global Troy Advisory Committee, I'd appreciate to know ahead of time, even if it's just the day before, because sometimes those things happen really quickly. But I really felt bad that I wasn't there, Some of my friends were like, why weren't you there? And the honest truth was I didn't know about it in advance. And so I just wish that we had been notified ahead of time.
Yes, and I'm sorry about that. I actually.
You know about that, Sarah? Because I wasn't aware or invited myself, so I found out when I saw some fellow council members in a newspaper article. That's how I learned about it.
Yeah. No. So the only thing I knew was like weeks before there was talk about getting a permit. And then I found out the Saturday evening before they actually had it, and I didn't check my email on the Saturday evening. So that's why it wasn't sent out to you all. So I'm sorry about that. And I wish I would have checked my email, but yeah, I didn't get the notification until right before.
Sometimes the social media of your friends is actually better information than what some of us, the rest of us, are given. But yeah,
I found out about it, and I went there just a little bit late, but it started raining after that. So
no. Yeah, it looked like a good turnout and a good event. So I mean, it definitely was a good thing. It just was, Allison.
Yeah, not super related to this topic. When you said we were going to go back in person, I know, like, I think a few months ago you brought up that there used to be a tradition where like people shared something about their culture. Are we going to do that when we're in person?
Oh, I'd love to. We could be doing that now, but yeah, do you have any ideas? Did you want to go first? Did you want to go? No, you just want somebody to do something. All right, well. We'll have, maybe Sarah, you can email the group as a whole and see. I mean, I know a lot of you on this board have already done that. You over the past, few years ago, maybe, but can't hurt to do it again. And then we can, certainly, I know part of it was sharing with city staff and doing certain things and having a bigger, broader discussion. But it would be nice to start with at least bring some of that back for this group, and they'll be. Because of the rules, they'll still be broadcast and or recorded at least. So we will have that, and we can always share some of those. We can cut those stories down and share them if we wanted to on social media. So maybe Sarah, you can do a question out to us and see if anyone wants to volunteer to do something. You can go next time, Allison, not first time. You can go the next time. How about that? All right. Public comment. Don't think this is the kind of Zoom where we're allowing public to be part. I don't see that aspect. Although I thought that was what I don't know if we're doing that for all boards and committees either, but was there any public comment sent in via email or voicemail, Sarah?
There were not. And I'm pretty sure we did get, like, there was a Zoom that was sent out on the public notice. So if anyone is wanting to have public input, IT would help with that.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like it doesn't have the participant versus attendees split, so this looks like not that kind, but.
There was a last minute issue with the Zoom account. We had to switch formats last minute, hence the new link. This format doesn't allow that live participation.
That's what I thought. So, okay. Yeah, I know Planning Commission had to postpone their meeting last night because the technology wasn't working right. So that makes sense that it's not working. But I also don't expect any public comment for this board. I don't think there has there ever been any? Not while I've chaired it. So, I mean, that's been a little bit. But anyway, okay. Well, if there's nothing else, then I guess we will adjourn and say goodnight. And I appreciate all of you for coming in. And our next meeting, I don't have the date in front of me, but it's next month.
We're all in person, finally.
Right. We'll have to, that'll be very exciting. So, and we'll talk about, Sarah, I'm assuming you can, as we get closer to that meeting, send out maybe some correspondence to everybody on the board explaining any protocols in place at City Hall and how that process will work. I know we haven't updated those yet, but when we do, right?
Yeah. Yes. When it's set in stone, I will definitely let everyone know.
All right. Okay, everybody. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Thanks,
Bye.
folks.